We keep seeing more and more K-pop companies debut these so-called global groups with the intention of reaching a wider audience, especially in the West. However, these groups tend not only to perform poorly overseas but also to have worse numbers than traditional K-pop groups. But why is this happening? Let's break it down. I believe the main reason these groups tend to flop is the product they're trying to sell, namely, their music and their concepts. The music tends to be too similar to K-pop, which only grabs the attention of K-pop fans, giving these groups the same audience as other K-pop acts. Casual listeners and the general Western public don't care about what these groups offer and would even prefer to stan an actual K-pop group, because at least K-pop groups have a lot of activities, several mini-albums a year, tours, variety shows, etc. On the other hand, these global groups often release the same kind of music but only put out 2 singles a year at most, so it's easy to lose interest in them. These global groups seem to cater exclusively to the K-pop audience. They appear on Korean music shows like any other K-pop group, do dance challenges with other idols, and get nominated at K-pop end-of-year awards. While this isn't necessarily a bad thing, we've even seen Western artists appear on these shows. The problem is that this is the only type of promotion they engage in, and it's not enough to reach a global audience. Even K-pop idols with no foreign members appear on Western talk shows and platforms these days, so you'd expect a global group, supposedly aimed at international markets, to do the same, but they rarely do. This ends up making people treat them like just another K-pop group, which they supposedly are not.
To take the K out of K-pop and make it global.
I think another major issue is being part of the K-pop system itself. K-pop idols are used to working insane hours, and Mix's Haewon even said that she sleeps only 1 hour during promotional periods and she drinks 8 coffees a day. They're expected to tour entire continents in a week, with no time to rest, and to follow extreme diets to meet impossible beauty standards. While none of this should be normalized, it is normal in the K-pop industry, and whether we like it or not, it's one of the many reasons why these groups are so successful. They never stop working. Take aespa, for instance. They released a full album with a promoted pre-release, followed by another mini-album, went on a world tour, and attended festivals, among other schedules. This relentless work ethic was a major reason for their massive success in 2024. They became the biggest girl group of their generation both domestically and internationally. Global groups, however, tend to follow a much calmer, slower schedule, which is great for their health, of course, but it's not appreciated by K-pop fans. And that's why, even though they're marketed to the K-pop audience, they fail to fully capture its attention. There are plenty of other groups that offer the same quality of music and concepts, or even better, but at a much faster pace. When K-pop companies try to give these global groups the same treatment as traditional K-pop groups, we get cases like VCHA's KG, who rightfully sued HYBE for mistreatment. However, as I mentioned earlier, overwork and health issues are so normalized in the K-pop industry that even when idols do sue their companies, it's usually for other reasons, like not being paid or for abuse of power, not for being overworked or having health issues due to the company's treatment. Moreover, even when some of these global groups follow a more Western schedule, they still struggle to make it big in the West because they lack authenticity, something Western audiences value highly in their artists. K-pop companies don't allow these global idols to create their own music, develop their own concepts, or shape their identity as a group. That's why they end up feeling like just another K-pop group to Western listeners. Artists in the West can take years to release new music, but when they do, they often drop a full album with more than 20 songs, many of which are composed by them, or at the very least, they've had a hand in creating. These albums usually mark a whole new era for the artist, like Charlie XCX's Brat, for instance, or they carry deep personal meaning, such as The Weeknd's Hurry Up Tomorrow. In contrast, global groups typically release a single or a mini-album once a year, and the songs aren't even written or composed by them. So, with so many other artists to choose from, Western audiences simply don't pay attention to these groups. I know this is something most K-pop groups do as well, but given how packed K-pop idols' schedules usually are, the public tends to forgive them for not having the time, or perhaps even the energy, to sit down and write lyrics for an entire album. And when idols do participate in the creative process, like G-Idol's Soyeon, BTS Rap Line, or ATEEZ's Hongjung, they are highly praised for it. So, all of this raises the question, what's the difference between global groups managed by K-pop companies and regular K-pop groups? Is it just making music in English? K-pop groups are already releasing English singles and English versions of their Korean songs every comeback, so that's not enough. Is it having members from different countries? Groups like Blackpink, NCT, and Black Swan already include members from all over the world, so that can't be it either. In reality, there's not a single difference between K-pop groups and global groups except for the fact that they have different names. So yeah, there's not a single global group that has taken the K out of K-pop. Personally, I think K-pop companies should either stop debuting these groups or completely change their approach to managing them, because so far, it's clearly not working. The only truly successful song from a global group was Touch by Katseye. But if we're being honest, it only succeeded because it was a trending sound at the time. Almost everyone was making the same music, including very popular groups, like New Jeans and Illit. Even Nugu groups like Racine were gaining attention for doing this sound, so it was clear that the group itself wasn't the reason why the song was so successful. After their new release, Gnarly, Katseye's reputation will probably decrease a lot, because it's not an easy listening song. Having said all this, we could agree that the issue here is that K-pop companies don't know what to do with global groups. Because we can look at others, like XG, who are managed by a Japanese company, and see a whole different picture. XG have a clear identity and sound. They promote in Korea but overseas as well, and they keep gaining attention not only in the West but also globally. So K-pop companies need to take notes before thinking of debuting another global group just to end up ruining their careers.